Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Sunday. Everybody was texting me, asking me what I was doing. And I was like, and they're all telling me that they're like laying inside and they're watching movies and all this kind of stuff. And I said, oh, I'm getting ready to go outside. I'm getting ready to make some coffee and go outside and vlog. And they're like, you're going to go outside in this? I'm like, yeah. Yes, ma'am. I'm going in, take it all in. I'm going inside, or I'm going outside into the blizzard, honey. I'm going outside into the blizzard of love. It doesn't feel too cold out here. But I've also been out here today, probably about 10 times. Out here and out back. So here is the dog's perspective of the storm. Walter absolutely loves it. Otis absolutely hates it. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. My chair, I put up the cushions last night, like that. I think I showed you guys if you watched yesterday's vlog. So the cushion is actually toasty warm, and I have my blanket, which I think after this I'm gonna wash because I haven't yet since I got it. Or did I one time? I think maybe I washed it one time. Anyway, it's kind of laying down here in the snow. So I don't even need a scarf today, and I brought my gloves out with me, but I don't even know if I need my gloves, so I'm gonna put them over here. Yeah, I mean, it's cold, but it doesn't feel like super, super cold. There's people walking down the street, and there's like grandparents playing in the snow with their grandkids and stuff like that. It wasn't snowing earlier, and then it just started snowing. I thought the snow, like I looked last night, late at night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it said that the snow was supposed to stop about 3 or 4. And right now, this is an early vlog today, are you ready? Right now, it is currently 2:16 p.m. I don't know if you can even see that. It's 2:16 p.m. and let's see what the temperature is. Hold on a second. The temperature is, ooh, it's 14 degrees and it feels like -1. I don't think it feels that cold out. It's not as cold today as it was yesterday when I was vlogging. And like, how long is the snow supposed to go on for? Oh, it looks on here and it said, it looks on here. It looks on here like it's just gonna go till 5 o'clock. And then it's going to stop. And then tomorrow, high of 5, it is snowing. You can see it on me. I didn't think you guys could see the snow in the video yesterday. And then when I was like putting it together at the beginning of it, I could see snow coming across to me. So I don't know if you can see the snow right now, but I can kind of see it when I look down. Yeah. And tomorrow it's going to be a high of 5. Sunshine and clouds mixed. So anyway, I'm getting an early vlog done today because then my plan is to watch movies and TV shows, take a nap. I did not order pizza yesterday. Well, I started feeling bad. Here was the thing, okay? So I got done with all my videos, got my vlog done. I went inside, I got all the videos up. I was waiting for the vlog to render. My computer is so slow right now, you guys, that I mean, I need a new computer. Like, just, I need to go, like, tomorrow and buy a new computer. No, I'm not, like, literally, but I probably literally I do. I need a new computer. I think when I'm with Caroline this week, I'm going to go look at the computers. Like, it's time. The computer is 9 years old. I can't remember. I said something on here, and I was like, does anybody know when I bought this computer? I don't know how somebody knew that I bought it in 2017, but I looked, or they told me how to find out, and I looked. It's 2017. So the computer is 9 years old. I mean, I use it every day. And yesterday when I was doing it, well, after I got done vlogging, this, like, warning thing came up. And it said, I've never seen this before. And it said something about, like, you're using, like, multiple things at the same time, and it's slowing down the computer. That's never come up. Because, like, I'll, like, upload, you know, like, 2 videos on YouTube, and then I'm making my thumbnail, and then I'm, like, rendering a video in iMovie. Like, there's a lot going on. If I ever vlog inside and a lot of that stuff's going on, you can kind of hear it in the background. It's like, so, like, Alex was sitting there watching TV the other night, and he took his AirPods out. I go, what is that sound? And he goes, that's the fan running because your computer is probably about to overheat. Because the fan just, like, if I have the computer open, the fan runs, always. I know when I tell you guys that, you guys that are, like, computer people will be like, Peter, you need a new computer, like, immediately. The other thing is, I need to get a new computer. Well, most of the stuff that I have on the computer is already, like, on an external hard drive, so I can transfer it. But, like, the stuff that's on there, like, I need to get it over to a new computer before it's lost forever. I just, honestly, I'm just like, I'll just come up with it some other way. But anyway, so yesterday I was like, the rendering of the vlog, honey, the land, it took so long. So I was like, and I knew that I wanted to walk a little bit in the snow because it was pretty and stuff like that, but I didn't know how long I would walk. Well, I ended up walking longer than I thought I would. I ended up walking for probably like 40, 45 minutes last night. And I just walked around the neighborhood and stuff like that. It was real pretty, and when I was walking, like, people were, like, standing in their door, like, looking at it and saying hi and stuff like that. But my plan was to order the pizza as soon as I got done vlogging, and then it would, like, come while I was walking or whatever. And so I was, like, looking at DoorDash and stuff like that, and I was, like, looking at the pizza places, and I really thought, do you guys remember when I went through the Jets Pizza thing? Where I ordered Jets Pizza, like, every day? I haven't had Jets Pizza in forever. Like, when we order pizza, well, we both really like Hot Box Pizza, which is, like, a local pizza. I think it's in Indiana and, like, Kentucky and Ohio or something like that. But in Indiana, there's, like, they're usually on college campuses. But if you order their sodas, they have these little plastic cups, these little plastic, like, round tumblers. I think you guys have probably seen them when I, like, if I'm drinking out of, like, a water glass, it's not, like, clear plastic. They say Hot Box Pizza on them. And, like, at Halloween, they have, like, glow-in-the-dark green ones and white ones and orange ones. Christmas, they have, like, red and green. Like, they're constantly changing the cups. No lie, we have, like, three or four stacks of them up there, and probably each stack has, like, 8 cups. So we probably have 30 of them in there. They're fun. They're cute cups. I mean, we use them all the time. We always have 2 out next to the sink for, like, filling up with water. But anyway, Alex really likes this pizza from Hot Box Pizza, and it has jalapenos on it. That's, like, something he just started, like, a year ago. He's gone back to liking pepperoni, and so every pizza he gets, he used to just eat cheese pizza. But now we went somewhere and he got pepperoni pizza, and he was like, I kind of miss having pepperoni. So now he gets pepperoni. If we get a hot box, he gets jalapeno. I usually get the same thing. We're not judging Peter Monn for this, okay? I get onion and pineapple. I know when people say pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, I don't know. I've liked it ever since I was a kid. So, oh, this is my very first cup of coffee for the day, and it is Cafe Bustelo. And I'm so excited for this coffee. So, when I was a little kid, I feel like it goes back to, I remember my dad and I used to go, well, now it's Chuck E. Cheese, and it's completely different. But when I was growing up, it was called Showbiz Pizza. Actually, our Chuck E. Cheese up the street is in the exact same location that Showbiz Pizza was 40, 50 years ago when I was a little kid. But when I was a little kid, you would, like, walk in, and then to the right, if anybody remembers Showbiz Pizza, they have this huge, like, game arcade area with, like, that skee ball or whatever it's called. I love that. That was, like, my favorite thing. And the whack-a-mole thing. They had that, and then they had arcade games. And if you kept on walking down, it was like this dining room area, but it was dark. And there was a stage, and they had these, like, animatronic animals that would, like, come out, like, every half an hour. And they would, like, move and sing and stuff like that. And so we would go there, my dad and I. Later, my dad was like, I just listen. He was like, we would just try to find things for, like, I would just try to find things for you to do in the weekends because it got boring just you and I sitting at home. Like, what do you do? Like, in an apartment. So we would go to Showbiz Pizza. Well, I also found out that what my dad told me was Showbiz Pizza was, like, one of the only places where you could, like, take kids to go do something where they served beer. So my dad loved Showbiz Pizza because you can get beer. He was like, you can get a beer and have the shittiest pizza in the world. He called it cardboard pizza, which is now my favorite, the Totino's, right? It's funny, like, all these pizza places, like, maybe this is a small town thing, I don't know, but I don't think it is. Like, when you go to other cities like Chicago, like, people fight over, like, what is really good pizza, like, in Chicago. Like, I love deep dish pizza. But I was also, like, raised on Chicago pizza because my parents lived in Chicago for so long. And so, when we would go to Chicago, like, when I would go with my dad and stuff like that, we always went to Gino's Pizza. I think the original's off of Ohio or something. Or East. We used to... No, it's Gino's East off of Ohio. I think that's it. But we would always go to Gino's, where you, like, walk downstairs and, like, you sign your name on the wall, and the cups are, like, the red plastic. And my mom would always want, like, she'd be like, can you bring me a pizza back? Because you can bring, like, at that, now you can buy them in the grocery stores, but then you couldn't. I actually, not too long ago, I bought a Gino's Pizza and, like, heated it up for Alex and I. He doesn't like, Alex is not a deep dish pizza person, but we've gotten them before. They give you an idea of what Gino's is like, but I wouldn't say they're 100%. Probably the best deep dish pizza I've had, like, grocery store-wise. And I guess I don't really know, to be honest with you, the difference between, like, Chicago pizza. I mean, I have an idea. Chicago pizza is, like, deep dish, you know, and it's, like, and Gino's is, like, a cornbread base, like, for the pie part of it, and then, or the crust part of it. And then New York is, like, where you fold it over, right? Like, it's, like, thinner pizza. What is Michigan, like Detroit pizza? Because Caroline gets that Motor City pizza, from Costco, and it's like a deep dish, but it's like square, and it has like the edges on it. I love that. Okay, well, that's what Jet's Pizza is like. So I was thinking about getting Jet's Pizza last night. We're going to go get back to the pizza thing because this is a very important story for me of my childhood. Okay, so I was going to get Jet's Pizza last night, and they have like a really good like Greek salad and stuff like that. I thought it through, and I was like, I was hungry for pizza, but I wasn't that hungry, and I was like, so anyway, I did not get the Jet's Pizza last night. I did not get the Jet's Pizza last night. And then I kind of regretted it all last night, like every 2 hours. I was like, damn, I should have got that Jet's Pizza. But now everything is closed today, so it's okay. But I don't know. The next time we get pizza, maybe well, Alex doesn't like deep dish pizza. But if he orders like something from like, well, he usually gets, for a long time, Papa John's, but he doesn't really get Papa John's anymore. I really like Donato's pizza. I really like the cheese at Donato's Pizza. I get the thin, like the real thin pizza. I love the onions, too, the white onions at Donato's. Donato's used to also have, like, this Impossible hamburger that you could get on it. They don't have it anymore, or at least the one that we go to, they don't have it here, that delivers here. But I really liked that. And for a while, I was getting Donato's. I love, love, love Donato's. Little weird side story. So, when 9/11 happened, I was at work, and it was just me and my supervisor at first. Like, all the patients were at breakfast and stuff, and we, like, had the TV on in the lounge, and so she was, like, in her head, like, we gotta figure, I mean, you didn't know, like, it's so, I mean, I was, like, an adult when that happened. I can remember my mom, like, I can remember my mom talking about, like, when she was growing up, like, certain things, or when she got older, like, the John F. Kennedy assassination and things like that, like, she remembered exactly where she was at that moment, and she said, as you get older, like, you'll remember exactly where you were at certain things that happen. I think it's kind of a sad sentiment that as I've gotten older, especially the last couple years, there's been so much that's happened that it's like, how do you constantly remember where you are every day? But with 9/11, I do remember where I was, and, I was at work, and they were, like, putting in, like all the, like, hospitals and stuff. We were on a hospital campus, and so they were, like, putting protocol into place, because people were already calling in and not coming in. They were telling people, like, to stay where you were. And so she was like, as soon as, like, the next shift comes in, we're leaving, and you're gonna get out of there. So we both left at the same time, and I can remember going home. This is when I was with my ex. This must have been our first year together. And so, he was in hair school at the time, and he was going to try to make it up here. But, like, it was, like, the roads were crazy and everything. And I remember sitting at the Donato's and Fisher's, and I ended up getting a sandwich. I wasn't a vegetarian at this time. I don't remember what sandwich it was, but Donato's has sandwiches. And I got a sandwich and breadsticks with that cheese dip in there. And I can remember sitting in the Donato's, and I was the only person in there besides people that worked there, watching the TV. And he and I were, like, talking about, like, how to get him, like, up to Indianapolis. Because we didn't know. We were, like, things could change within, like, the next 5 to 10 hours, and, like, maybe they're going to shut down the roads. I mean, we didn't know. And so, but I remember sitting in that Donato's. Every time I get Donato's, I always think of that. It's the weirdest thing. By the way, I wore a different hat today. I thought this was more of kind of like a blizzard hat. What do you think? You think so? I just don't think I look good in these kind of hats. I'm trying to, like, get used to them so I can, you know. Anyway, the funny thing about, like, Indianapolis, is this, like, a small town thing, or, like, the era that I grew up in? Maybe it's, like, a big thing. I don't know. But, like, when I was growing up, there was, like, always this conversation with, like, kids. And I was never invited to these parties anyway, so it didn't really matter. But, like, where you were going to have your birthday party, like, at a pizza place. And the big pizza places here in town were Showbiz Pizza. That was, like Chuck E. Cheese today. But it was 10 times better than Chuck E. Cheese. Like, it really was. Like, they had this, like, a whole show, like, every half an hour. If I called my dad right now and put him on speakerphone, which I would never do to him, but if I did and I said something about Showbiz Pizza, he, like, remembers the song to this day. He, like, sings it every once in a while. My dad will call me up. Okay, my dad is, like, one of the most sarcastic, funny people you'll ever meet. Like, if you talk to my dad about, like Disney World, he's always like, it's a small world after all. He, like, hated that ride, because that was, like, the ride that I wanted. I hate rides, and that was, like, the ride that I wanted to do always when I was a kid. But anyway, The other place, I can't believe I just remember this, was called Paramount Pizza Palace. I should see if it's still open. But people be like, I want to go to Paramount Pizza Palace. Okay, Paramount Pizza Palace, I did go for a birthday party because one of my moms, it is still snowing, I can't believe it. One of my moms, well, first of all, the snow. Last night I couldn't really tell. I was sitting inside, and you know, like when it's snowing outside, it brightens up everything. So even at like 4 o'clock in the morning, it seemed pretty bright on the back. Walter would just look up and look at it every once in a while. It was real sweet. But I couldn't really tell. Like, I kept on taking pictures of it. You guys want to see? I kept on taking pictures of it last night to see. Yeah, like I took this picture last night at 5:07 a.m. And look how bright it is. It's pitch black outside. Look how bright it was because of the snow. So I kept on taking pictures last night to see, like, how much snow we had gotten. Today, it's, like, double that. Because I couldn't tell, like, if we were getting any snow or anything. By the way, my husband is... It's in the family group text. They rescheduled Sebastian's birthday party. He's laying out by the pool. It's 80 degrees. Paramount Pizza Palace. Okay, so everybody always wanted to have their birthday party at Paramount Pizza Palace. I would hear everybody talk about how amazing it was. It had this, like, organ that came out of the wall or the ground or something like that. I always wanted to go there, but I was never invited to the birthday parties. So finally, like, my mom's best friend's daughter had a birthday party there. And Pizza Palace, Indianapolis. Is it still open? The Paramount Music Palace in Indianapolis was a famous pizza restaurant, 1978 to 1995, known for its giant, mighty Wurlitzer theater pipe organ, not necessarily for its food. If it was your birthday, though, they would do, like, something on this organ for your birthday. I can't remember. It featured thousands of pipes, live organ performances, and served as a major family entertainment spot before closing, with some of its organ pipes and components now at Organ Stop Pizza in Mesa, Arizona. I don't know, but I can remember going there. I think I only ever went there, like, once or twice. But I can remember going there and being like, this is where everybody... I mean, even as a kid, I thought, this is where everybody wants to have their birthday party. What? My cousin to this day, Caroline, she loves Noble Romans. She thinks Noble Romans is like... I thought... Because she was talking about the other day that she wanted Noble Romans pizza. And I was like, well, get one. She's like, no, I'm on Weight Watchers, which is what she always says. But anyway... I didn't even know they were still open. She's like, do you not remember? Because, like, when we would go as kids, there was, like, a window, and you could watch, like, the guys make the pizzas. She goes, do you not remember how much we would go there, like, your dad and my dad, when we were kids? I was like, I remember going to Noble Romans, but not, like, she's like, your dad and, like, after your parents got... Oh. That was the broom. You know what I found out this morning? And can I just tell you, two of my friends said the exact same thing and started laughing. We don't have a shovel. I would have sworn we had a shovel. So I have the broom right inside the door right there, because that was broom and stuff. See, here you can see, this is why we had to take it out back, because the front does not work, okay? Right here, this is, this is Pee Alley right here. And over there you can see, goes all the way down, that's Poop Alley. And then I get to pick up the poop. But, pick up the poop with a bag of snow. Now, Walter will run all the way down there, and then he goes out in the snow. Walter likes the snow. Otis does not like the snow at all. Well, it's taller than him, which is why I had to broom it off at first. And then they were just standing up here looking at me like, what are you doing, Dad? But anyway, I gotta put these gloves on now. It's not cold, but, like, I mean, it's colder than it feels some days. But anyway, Caroline was like, do you not remember going to Noble Romans Pizza, like, after her parents got separated? I was like, Caroline, I don't remember that. She was like, yeah, your dad, because my dad and my Uncle Dave were really, really good friends. And she was like, we would, like, meet up there, and, like, it was just, like, the four of us. And she's like, you and I would watch the pizzas being made. I said, I don't remember that at all. Which is weird, because I have the greatest memory in the entire world. Caroline has the worst memory. I remember going to Noble Romans. I remember going to birthday parties, and I think I had a birthday party at Noble Romans. But I don't remember going there with Caroline, just me and Caroline and her dad and my dad. I don't remember that. Isn't that weird? Anyway, but I was also, like, 5. But I remember a lot of stuff from when I was, like, 5 and 6, you know? Do you want to hear kind of a sad little thing? I don't think about this very often because we've made it through the times. But when Alex and I were back in the day, like, when we were really, really having hard times, and, like, before we went into marriage counseling, like, I think this is the real shit that we don't talk about sometimes. I mean, the first couple months that we were in marriage counseling, I was pretty convinced it wasn't going to work and we were going to get divorced. Like, I was pretty certain of that. It's interesting because Alex is definitely more of a pessimist than I am. Hold on just a second. I think I'm going to go inside and put this broom away. Because I think they're playing with the broom. I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. Why would you possibly want to play with your 400 toys that you have on the floor when you can just as easily pull a broom from the entryway into the living room? I literally walked inside and Walter was standing over. Otis was behind him, but he had like one paw on either side of the broom, and he's like going down and biting it and pulling it. Like they're trying to pull it into the living room. I should be thankful if they don't like do shoes and stuff like that. When they were teething like really bad at first, the chairs in the kitchen and the floorboards between the slate and in the kitchen and like the wood floors in the living room, they would chew on those. Otis still does a little bit, but not very often. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh shoot. Wiggle your toes, Peter. Paramount Pizza Palace, Caroline and I was going to say something profound, and now I don't remember what it was. About remembering things from when I was a little kid. I was like, hold on to that thought, too. Now I kind of want to rewind it and see what I was saying, but I don't really want to. Anyway, well, maybe I'll come back to it and I'll remember it, or when I get to the 30-minute mark, I'll go back and look at it. But anyway, Caroline was like, don't you remember that? I was like, no, I don't remember that. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. I got to stop this and go. I got to stop this and look and see what I was talking about. I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. I'm actually really glad that I went back and looked to see what I was talking about, because I never would have remembered that. And I really want to talk about this when it came up in my head, because I think it's a normalizing factor about relationships and stuff, you know. And it's interesting because I have a couple girlfriends of mine that have gone through like some really bad breakups, and it's been a couple years and stuff like that, and they'll say something out of the blue like, oh my god, I was like, you know, I saw the other day that like he brought his new girlfriend, or sometimes even new wife, like there'll be pictures of him and his new wife, like they had Christmas with his mom, and I'm like, where are you seeing those pictures? Well, I still follow, like, he blocked me, but I still follow, like, his whole family. And, like, I'm like, why? Like, Tani calls that dialing up pain. She's like, why are you dialing up pain? Well, because I'm really close with them. Like, you know, they were my family for 3 years. I'm like, 3 years. We're not talking 20 years, okay? Like, my parents were married, and my mom stayed in contact with my family. But even then, like, it wasn't like my mom was going to family reunions. And I think there's some situations where people do that, and it's very, very rare. And I think the partying is very civil and, you know, mutual and things like that. But usually that's not the case. And I'm very, like, as dreamy as I am, I'm a realist about situations like that. That, like, if Alex and I were going to break up, like, yeah, I would call his mom from time to time, or Fufu and Jesse. We've been together 18 years at this point, right? But do I think that I'm, like, I don't know, like, I can't imagine just, like, me going over and hanging out with his family if Alex was out of town for Christmas. Like, I just don't. I know there's some of you out there that'll be like, well, why wouldn't you if they ask? Because I think that's, I don't know, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. That's just how I am. But anyway, but I have friends of mine, they're like, oh yeah, like, I talk to his mom, like, once a week. And I'm like, why? And to me, that's kind of like, you're holding on to, I mean, I'm not saying don't send a Christmas card, don't check in once a year and be like, how are you doing? But that's never going to be your mother-in-law. Like, and I feel like that's putting yourself through unnecessary pain. I'm not saying you have to be rude if they reach out to you and, you know, keep it civil. But, like, I feel like you're still playing the role at that point, a boyfriend or girlfriend, when you're no longer in that role, and you're the one that's going to end up getting hurt. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I know when I'm talking about this, or somebody out there that is getting so offended right now, and I'm not trying to. Do what makes you happy. But, like, I think in those situations, like, it can be really, really hurtful, you know? And like, my mom and my ex were really close. Like, really, really super close. And after we broke up, like, she does Christmas present and stuff. And I can remember she would say, like, she tried to get in touch with him to, like, see his new place and whatever. Like, not to, like, go and see him once a week. She wanted kind of, I think, closure for her. She wanted to give him his Christmas present and be like, oh, your new place is cute. Like, hey, like, I'll miss you. You know, if you ever need anything, call me. Like, I loved you, you know? Like, I think my mom needed that, or she wanted that. But she wasn't, my mom wasn't the person that was going to be, like, continuing to have lunch once a week, you know, or things like that. Like, she wanted some kind of closure to the whole situation, I think. And he really wouldn't, like, he felt real uncomfortable with that. Like, and I remember, like, she'd say, I just don't understand, you know, like, well, when he came to say goodbye to my mom in the hospital, and I brought him the Christmas present, I said, she's been trying to give you this for, like, months now. But to some degree, I kind of respect that, like, that he, I don't know. My mom was savvy enough that she understood what was going on. It wasn't like she was going to try to hold on to that relationship or tell him what I was doing in my life because he wasn't interested, and she wasn't the type. My mom got stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I can remember when your mind goes to, like, real weird places. You know, when you think, this person that I'm sleeping next to every day that I've created a world with is no longer going to be in my life. And I had already gone through this with my ex, where honest to God, I thought we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. And then, literally, we have this conversation on a Sunday, and we break up, and I don't know him anymore. Like, it's the weirdest feeling. I don't even know, like, I mean, I'd gone through breakups before, but that breakup was so bizarre to me because, like, I, honest to God, thought we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. Like, I think 6 months to a year before I knew we weren't going to make it. But in my head, I kept on thinking, like, if we can just make it through Christmas, Christmas is always really good for us. I, honest to God, thought, like, I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I thought. I wasn't happy. He wasn't happy, he said later. We weren't unhappy with each other. Like, when I say that, like, not that it matters, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. Like, we just weren't, we loved each other, but we weren't romantically in love with each other. And we become complete roommates. And I think we both yearned for something else. He's a great guy. He's a great person, you know, like, and honestly, one of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life. But I didn't want another friend. I wanted to be excited and passionate and desired, and I wanted to have a partner. Like, we were partners as friends, but it was like, it wasn't, I don't know how to explain it. And I know there are people out there that don't need that, and I get that, right? Like, are completely fine with having roommates as partners. And I think, like, each person in their own life has to make their own decision. But I was at a point where I was like, that was a big year of transition for me, 35 to 36. You know, I left my job, I resigned from my position, my mom passed away, I moved out of that apartment, and I met Alex, and my ex and I broke up. And he and I breaking up was the first part of it. And it was a huge year of transition for me, huge year. It's weird to think that I'm almost 20 years out from that. Like, talking about it, it feels like it wasn't that far, like that long ago, but like, it was, this one car just keeps on driving around in circles. It's like this white SUV. I think they kind of, like, plowed the streets earlier. They said they're not plowing the driveways and the streets and stuff like that until late this evening when it stops snowing. It's still snowing right now. I don't know if you guys can see it if I show you. I don't know if it shows like that, but, like, it's, I mean, to me, on any other day, it would be pretty steady snow. But anyway, every time I do that, I forget what I'm talking about. Yeah, 35 was a year of transition for me. Like, I turned 36 after my mom passed away. I turned 36 that June. And it was a big transition year for me. And I think I acknowledged that, too. Like, I think that was one of the most important things for me, was that I was able to acknowledge that, like, I was going through a transition period. Like, everything for me changed. I got out of the long-term relationship. I'd worked at the treatment program for almost 13 years, left there. And that was scary for me when I resigned. Like, that was really scary for me. Because I thought I would be there until I retired, you know, which is so interesting to me because, like, right before I resigned, somebody that I worked with, she had resigned right before me. It's the one friend that I still see that's friends with my friend Erin. She had resigned right before me because she had gotten a job with the county running their substance abuse programs. She's completely, like, on her own now, doing her own thing, but she did that for a long time. And she left right before me, and I remember we talked, and she was like, how long are you going to stay here? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I just don't, like, you don't seem very happy here. And none of us really were. I mean, we had worked together as a team for a long time, but it it was time for new people to come in, you know? And then I left, and then after I left, like 3 people within the same year as me, like left within the same year. And then the one person that she and I had started like at the same time, she left like exactly a year after me. And now there's only like 2 people there that I know, that in the whole treatment facility, not just on our team, but the whole treatment facility that work there, that I even know. Like my supervisor isn't there anymore. Like her supervisor isn't there anymore. Hasn't been probably since a year or 2 after I left. Like I mean, everybody at that place is completely different. Like if I walked in there right now, I don't think I would know, but maybe like one person. You know, and it might be a patient, you know what I mean, that I see at meetings or something like that. Like I don't know anybody that works there anymore, and it's bizarre because I thought I'd be there for the rest of my life. So then that happened. Then my mom got sick. Then my mom passed away. Then I slowly moved in here by the following October, and Alex and I were dating at that point in August. I mean, my life looked completely different from August of 2007 to August of 2008, or let's say December of 2007 to December 2008. My life looked completely different. And the following year, I was still with my ex, and well, we broke up like the first week of December, but my mom was still alive. I was still working in treatment, and I thought about leaving, but I hadn't made a decision yet. I put in my resignation right before my mom and I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And she wasn't sick yet. And then flash forward a year later, I'm no longer working there. I'm fully living here. It's a condo. Don't have my apartment anymore. Alex and I are together. I mean, it's just bizarre. And so things change quickly. And I think like that year really taught me that. I think it's sometimes like when we talk about like midlife crises and stuff like that, I don't know, like I've really thought about that a lot. Like, the idea of like a midlife crisis. I think sometimes the midlife crisis is when a lot of things happen to you at the same time and you're kind of shell-shocked. And you almost kind of want to go back to a period in your life that felt safe for you. And maybe that was like they are plowing the roads. Maybe like a younger period of your life or something like that. The battery went to the halfway mark already. I'm only at like 30 minutes, I think, total. I've got another battery inside, but that's crazy. I think sometimes like, you know, like you see people that like go through divorce and their kid goes to college or this happens and that happens and all of a sudden like a parent dies and then people say they're going through a midlife crisis. I think also it's like you feel like my time, because I definitely felt this when my mom passed away, that my time here on this earth is limited. Like live it up now. Like I definitely felt that way. Like especially that first year or 2 after my mom passed away. I really felt that way. I was numb, but I also was like, you know, I was the same age that my mom was when my grandma died. And so in my head, like a clock started ticking for me. And I can remember thinking to myself, like my grandma died at 67, my mom died at 64. And I was like, if you make it, you've got 30 more years left. Like you need to start living it up. And, which I think about every once in a while, because I'm like, if I lived to the age that my mom and my grandma were, my aunt lived to her 80s, but if I lived to be that age, I've got 10 years left, you know? Like, what do you want to do with that 10 years? And even if I live a lot longer than that, I think it's a valuable question to ask yourself. Like, what do you want to do with your life, you know? But anyway, I remember because of that transition year, going through all that, and, like, my life looking so different, and, you know, I think, like, we both lost friends in the breakup because, you know, a lot of his work friends and stuff I was close with, and, like, I mean, it's not like he calls Tanya. He was real close with Tanya. Like, I mean, they talked a couple times after we broke up, and I mean, if she saw him out, Tony'd be like, oh my god, it's so great to see you, like, whatever, but, like, no, like, he didn't continue to do her hair and all that kind of stuff, like, you know how that happens in breakups, and so, like, I'm aware of how all that works now. When we were going through, like, really hard times, and this is also the other thing that, I don't really talk a lot about this, but when we were going through hard times, like, when we got married in front of our friends and family, like one of our commitments was that if we were going through tough times, that we would be open with our friends and family about it. Because when we got married, marriage equality didn't exist. When we later got married, like when it became legal 3 years later in 2014, yeah, we got legally married. But when we got married in 2011, it wasn't legal. And so it was important for us to get married in front of our friends and family. And so if we were going through a hard time, I'm not talking every fight, but when we got to the point where we were like, we might be getting divorced and we're going to go to therapy, we sat our families down. Not like our whole families, but like Alex's mom, my dad, my stepmom, our friend that married us and stuff like that. Like, I can remember how, like, we went to Basbas with Melissa and Jason, and we had this whole conversation with them about it and stuff like that. Like, we told the people that we were going through a hard time, because that was part of our commitment. I can remember, like, the early stages of going into counseling, you know, and, I mean, that's like 10 years ago now. I think, well, Sebastian just turned 10 this weekend. I don't even know if Sebastian was alive when we started that. He must have been. He might have been, like, 1. But I can remember seeing Carlitos, because we were so close with Carlitos. Carlitos is 13. He would have been, like, 3 or 4, so Sebastian would have been, like, 1. And I can remember being, like, maybe it was before that. Maybe Sebastian wasn't even born yet when we started all the marriage counseling. I can't remember. But I can remember being, like, I can see myself standing in Alex's mom's kitchen, and, like, Carlitos was dancing and stuff like that. And I was, like, because he loved dance when he was a little kid. And I can remember thinking, he's not going to even remember who I am. I remember before my ex and I broke up, we went to his Christmas party. And I remember walking into that Christmas party and being like, this will be the last. I had gone to that Christmas party since he started there. And I can remember thinking, this will be the last Christmas party that I ever go to of his. Because we love to get dressed up and go to that Christmas party. It was like this huge thing that we did every year. We were real excited about it every year. And I can remember walking in there. Because he and our friend, like, we picked up our friend that worked there too. And, like, I let them off at the door, and then I parked. And I can remember I walked in afterwards, and I was like, this is the last time I'm going to ever see some of these people. Like, it was the weirdest feeling ever. I remember having that similar feeling standing in Alex's kitchen and being like, or his mom's kitchen, and being like, will Carlitos even remember who I am? You know, like, I mean, I don't remember people at 3 years old. I mean, I have a good memory from my childhood, but, like, it's specific memories. It's not like, I remember, like, my mom's friend sitting in, like, our porch calling me Mr. Asparagus Man, you know, like, I don't remember long conversations. I don't remember tons of stuff about when I was a kid and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, it's weird, you know, it's like, and I have to say for them, like, I don't have that same fear with Cruz, you know, Jesse and Fufu's son. I don't have that same fear, because we're good, you know. That was really, really hard for me, the first couple years, like, the younger years of Carlitos and Sebastian. Like, that was really, really hard for me, because I was, like, I was so invested. It almost kind of makes me cry right now just even thinking about it. Like, that was really, like, that was painful. And I remember I would say things to Alex, like, the snow just started coming down real heavy, going sideways. And I would say things to him like, if we don't make it, they're not going to, like, even remember me. And he was like, he would say, we're going to make it. He had so much more hope than I ever did. Like, I honestly, like, I think for, like, the first 3 to 6 months, I thought for sure we're getting divorced. There's just no way. Like, I didn't have a lot of hope. I just really didn't. Don't ever give up hope. I always say this to people. Like, one of the reasons I share a lot about my mom is because my mom got sober at 51, which actually getting sober at 51 now is kind of young. Like, there's, like, I mean, I have friends of mine that are 70 and 80 and just got sober in the last year, you know? God love them. I don't know. If I was 80, I'd be like, just let me stay drunk. I don't know. I see, that's horrible to say, isn't it? But, like, I don't know. Like, and they're so excited about it, too. Like, they love coming to meetings, and they're sharing so much, and they're so funny. Oh, my God, a 70 or 80-year-old getting sober. They're so raw and so funny. I love them. Tanya hangs out with all of them. You know she do. She loves it. She's like, they don't give a fuck. She's like, they'll say whatever they want to say. I do love it, but, what was I going to say? You know, like, I think, like, don't ever give up hope, because that's why I share the story with my mom a lot. It doesn't even really have to do with her age, if you want to know the truth. I never thought my mom would get sober. Like, never. Ever, ever, ever. I don't know that I ever really thought, like, she got sober soon enough after, I don't know that I really had time to think about the process of it. Like, when I was younger, like, when I was in my own active addiction, if you had asked me, I would have said my mom will never get sober. But did I think that through to, like, she'll die or be arrested or be homeless or whatever? No, I never thought it through that far, because I was in my own active addiction. When I got sober and I told my mom, I can't see you, at least a lot, and I didn't until she got sober, because she was like, surely you can't mean me, and she was really upset about it. And I was like, yeah, I can't be around people that drink or are triggers. She was really upset about it, and that had nothing to do with why she got sober. I wish I could tell you that it did. It had nothing to do with it. So that was all for self-preservation for me. My mom was a huge trigger to me. Her drinking, her behaviors, her neediness, it was all, like, a huge trigger for me. I don't blame her on that. I'm just saying it was a trigger. And so my responsibility was to stay away from that trigger. So anyway, so then she got sober June 2nd was her sobriety birthday. And my birthday is December 17th, so almost 6 months to the date. And after that, I can remember, like, being like, wow, this is really cool. And you know, the other thing that's weird is, like, I don't remember... Well, I didn't know the multiple attempts at that time that she had tried to get sober. Like, I didn't know that she had tried to get sober so many different times, and she had always started over tokens and had gone to meetings and whatever. I didn't know that. But I don't remember ever, like, thinking, she's not going to continue this. Like, out of the gate, my mom was pretty hardcore. I mean, my mom was pretty, like, we call them big book thumpers. Like, they know, like, quote out of the book and stuff like that. Like, my mom was pretty hardcore right from the beginning. And she really, really felt that God had removed the desire from her to drink. Like, she really firmly believed that. Like, this is one of the reasons why when my mom was in the hospital, I had my friend say the third step prayer the night that my mom passed away. Because my mom loved the third step, which is about surrender. And that's what the step is about. It's, made a decision to turn our life and our will over to the care of God as we understood Him. And it's turning your whole life over to God. And I think when my mom did her third step, like, a lot of times in meetings we do it, like, on our knees and pray for the new person that's doing it. And they read it, the prayer, which is about removing the bondages of self. I think when my mom said that prayer, my mom was such a woman of faith. I think when she said that prayer, she believed it 100%. Like, I think at 22, I don't know, I said the prayer because... I mean, I share this in meetings. My third step was honestly the night that I came home from treatment. And I can remember my dad had my apartment cleaned and everything was spotless and there was new sheets on the bed and stuff like that. And I sat on the end of my bed after my friend had taken me to get my hair cut, and she had kept me busy all day long. This is my friend that I went to kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school, and college with, and graduate school. She kept me busy all day. And I remember I had this big blue, like, duffel bag. And I sat on the edge of my bed, just kind of like this. And I had my feet. And it was really, like, the first time that day that I had a moment to really think about things. And I thought to myself, you can run. Because my friend and I, the one that lives in Berlin now, well, my dad had a conversation with her and kind of put her in place. He was like, if you really care and love Peter, like, you will not, like, engage in this shit with him anymore. Like, if you really care about him. Because I called her at one point. She's like, I can't help you anymore with this because I love you and I don't want to see you die. But we had a plan that we were going to, like... Well, originally the plan was sell my car and, you know, move to LA and nobody would ever see us again or whatever. But the car was, you know, in a ditch. So I was like, you could just take off. Nobody's going to know where you're at or whatever. Do you hear the snow? When you can hear the snow, then you know it's, like, coming down. But... I was like, you have no place to go, no couches to sleep on. Everybody knows what's up. My dad called everybody and was like, if you care about my son, like, keep your distance kind of thing. Like, I don't judge you, but, like, you know. And I'm really thankful for that in retrospect. I mean, word got around real quick. And I remember I walked in there. He had, like, bought me new pajamas or something. I, like, walked in there. I loved to drink in the shower. Like, that was one of my favorite things. Like, I would, like, pop a couple pills and, like, go stand in the shower. I don't even know how I didn't die for years doing that. And I would just, like, I can remember just, like, holding bottles. It's interesting because you think about the weirdest stuff. Like, when I see movies now and they have, like, plastic liquor bottles. They were glass liquor bottles. I can't tell you how many liquor bottles I, like, broke in the shower. It was just, like, one of those bathtub showers in an apartment. Beer bottles, glass, like, I can remember, like, standing there and, like, trying to, like, get out of the shower. A couple times I cut my feet. Like, I mean, it was bad. But I love to drink in the shower, and I love to smoke weed. I love to roll a joint and smoke and I was not good at rolling joints, and lay in the bathtub. And there's a movie that I love that my mom loved. It's called Shoot the Moon. It's with Diane Keaton. It is with Diane Keaton. And she's married to this guy that's a writer, Albert Finney. Is it with Diane Keaton? It is with Diane Keaton. It was one of my mom's favorite movies. And they live, like, in Sausalito, outside of San Francisco. And they get divorced because he's having an affair. She said something about your lady friend. I love this line. I mean, I saw this movie for the first time, probably, like, sitting on the floor doing a puzzle, and my mom was, like, 8. She loved that movie, An Unmarried Woman, too, with Jill Clayburgh. I think my mom's so related to all these movies. But anyway, in the movie, they're getting a fight. She's making breakfast for all these kids. And he came home late, like, the night before. And she goes, where were you with your lady friend? And he goes, my lady friend, what's that? And she goes, it's like fucking, but you don't tell anyone. I love that line. I don't know how I remember that line still to this day. Probably why I had such a jaded childhood watching movies like that with my mom. Anyway, this is a fun vlog today. Like, this is so random. I'm just having this conversation. I'm loving this. This is so nice. Anyway, now I'm totally forgetting what I was saying. Shoot. I wish I had you all alone. Just the two of us. Halloween. God, I don't want to rewind this again. I can't stop this again and rewind it and see what I was talking about. Shoot them in. How am I losing thoughts? I haven't been up long enough is the problem. I took the dogs out. That was a whole mess of trouble. I took the dogs out and then brought them back in and then took them back out and then brought them back in and then we sat on the bed and then I fell asleep again and then... Damn it. I keep forgetting what I was talking about. I was talking about Carlitos not remembering who I was. I don't know. This is really pretty, but I have to be honest with you, like, I'm really ready for summer and the pool to be open again. This is going to drive me crazy, you guys. I know I'm doing this again, but I have to see what I was talking about because I was like on such a track and now I'm just like, it's just gone. It's just, I'll be back in just a second. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my battery because we're at what now? Like 40, almost 45 minutes. I'm going to change my battery while I have my battery. Look. Oh, no, not. Oh. And then I will come back and finish up this vlog and then I can also look and see what I was talking about. So I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. They are so quiet in there. I like sat here for a second. They must be asleep. The cold and the snow kind of wears them out. They're probably so mad that I took that broom away from them. When I take something away from them that, like, oh my God, you guys. They have destroyed so many books of mine, can I just tell you? So in the corner, like when I vlog inside, I cannot forget what I was talking about because I just went back and looked. But and the snow is starting to come down on me, so I'm actually, to be honest with you, kind of glad. And it's blowing. Oh, the wind is starting, so now it's starting to blow. It's starting to really look like a blizzard now. So I don't want to forget what I was talking about. But do you know when I'm like vlogging inside and in the corner where the bookshelves are and then Alex has his chair pushed up? Okay, I have all this stuff. So on the floor down there, I pulled like 20 books that I wanted to read this summer. Didn't read any of them. But I keep on adding books to those piles down there on the floor, okay? So there's probably like now, like honest to God, like 40 or 50 books down there on the floor, okay? Well, I'll go over there every once in a while and all the stacks are falling down. Like they get into them, okay? Well, then my graphic novels, like my hardbound graphic novels, the other day, I went over there and looked, and I was like, oh my God. They're puppies. And they were so sweet, because I, like, looked at it, and then I looked back at them, and they're like, like, they thought they did something good. I'm like, it's just books, Peter. They got into my Linda Berry books. I've had those Linda Berry books since I was, like, 20. I don't even think you could order them anymore online. And they, like, completely chewed. They're not hardback. They're, like, paperback. But they completely chewed the binding off of them. It was, like, all just sitting there on the floor. So now I have that whole area. Like, I have stuff, like, guarding it off. But every time I come into the house, so, like, they're always, like, right over there. Like, trying to figure out a way to get to the bookshelves. Why is it they always want what they can't have? Anyway, they're mad at me probably now because of the broom. I took the broom away and put it in the garage earlier. So, anyway. Okay. I'm glad for the second time... that should be my thumbnail, but I actually want to have the snow in the background. That I went back and looked, because I did want to share this story. I've shared that before, but... So, a third step prayer, like, I think I did mine with my sponsor. I think we did it together. Both of my first and my second sponsor, we did it together, the third step prayer. Today... Well, in my home group, like what we do, like, is after the meeting's over, if there's like a newcomer, somebody will say, we're going to do a third step prayer with them, which is kind of like where you make your commitment to like, you're going to stay sober and whatever. And so we all get down on our knees and like the newcomer like reads the third step prayer out of the book and then we all recite it with them. And that's like doing a third step. I don't know, a lot of people did it that way. I think Tanya did hers that way. I did not. My third step was alone with my sponsor. And I can remember we had a whole conversation about it. My sponsor was like, are you ready? I feel like with my first sponsor, we just kind of did it right away. But with my second sponsor, the one that passed away from heroin addiction, the one I did my 4-step with and stuff, I remember having a conversation with him. Like, he's like, are you ready? to turn your life and your will over to God, like, of your understanding. Because I had this whole thing where God had to look a certain way. I had to know it. The second step was so hard for me, because the second step is about finding a higher power. And I wanted to make sure that I, really knew, my hands are getting kind of cold, what my higher power looked like, what it was supposed to be like, blah, 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 whatever, before I was going to turn my life and will over to it. And that was when my sponsor finally was like, God either is or he isn't. I was like, yeah. Which I'm glad that he did that in retrospect. And then he was like, we'll come back to this 2 years from now. We're not done. We're going to do the steps, as long as you feel like if you don't feel like there's a higher power, then we need to talk about that. And I was like, no, I've always been kind of agnostic at that point. I think there's something, I just don't know what it is. And he was like, well, that's good enough. So, but my real third step, and I do share this in meetings, is that night that I came home from treatment, that whole day, my friend had kept me busy, got my hair cut and all this kind of stuff. I went to that downtown studio. I remember that day. I was talking about the other day that I went to get my hair cut. That's where I went to get my hair cut that day. And I thought I was going to go right back to school, so I think I went down to school, to check in my classes or something. She took me down there and everything, and did all that, and then we went over to a friend of hers house, and they were all really supportive. We got dinner and stuff, and then I can remember I got home, and I just really didn't know what to do, and I felt very alone and very scared. I had been in treatment with all these people for 30 plus days, and all of a sudden I'm alone in this apartment, and it terrified me. I don't even really remember being terrified of drinking or using. I don't know, I just was the fear of being alone. I hadn't been alone by myself in a very long time without drink or drug. Without a drink or drug, that sounded weird. But that, I don't know, it just was weird. And I can remember I was sitting there, and I had my feet, I was sitting on the edge of my bed. I had this platform bed that my dad had made me when I moved in the apartment. It was kind of like a futon, but it was you never folded it up. And then the duffel bag was on the floor, and I had my feet on the duffel bag, and I was like, you can either run and do what you've always known how to do all your life, or you can stay. When I got out of treatment, my counselor, one of the last things she ever said to me, she said, this will be the hardest thing you ever do in your entire life, but it'll be the most valuable thing you ever do in your entire life. And she was completely correct. It's been the most valuable thing I've ever done in my entire life. It changed my life completely. I can't even imagine what my life, I wouldn't be here. I was, when my dad and I talked about this years ago, I said something about if I hadn't stopped using, he goes, you'd be dead. I said, do you really think so? He goes, oh, 100%, absolutely, I don't question it, you'd be dead. Or something like that. So anyway, and I remember I stood up and I went in. My dad had got me new pajamas and a new robe, and they were and I'm not a pajama and robe person, but I wasn't then. And I had it I am more now today, but back then I wasn't. And I can remember they were laid on the bed or whatever. My dad got me a new coffee maker. I've talked about that coffee maker. I mean, that is still to this day hard for me. When I think about my dad taking me to the grocery store, and he had stocked the refrigerator with juices and lunch meat and bread, and had the place cleaned and my coat professionally cleaned, and because it had burn holes in it and stuff. And I don't know, my dad just was and it's hard for me to imagine my dad in that apartment and the things he found. I'm sure there were drugs. I mean, he went through the entire apartment. I'm sure there were all kinds of drugs and stuff like that. It was a mess. It was gross. And then to come back, and it's the bed is freshly made with new sheets and everything on it, and pajamas are laid out. I mean, I had this little Pier 1 Papasan chair in the corner, and I mean, he and I have talked about it through the years, but I think it must have been so heartbreaking for him, My dad took a lot of responsibility. He really felt like he was to blame for a lot of it when he wasn't at all. But that's kind of how my dad's always been in life, is that he feels I mean, my dad's definitely a problem solver, And I think that he realized that was one problem he couldn't solve no matter what he did. And so he had to kind of give that over, to God. And I think he really struggled with that. And so the best he could do was buy me I think it was a red coffee maker, and a Mr. Coffee maker, and put food in the refrigerator, and he'd buy me a carton of cigarettes every week, even though he could not stand smoking, because he didn't want to give me any cash whatsoever, because he was afraid I would spend it on drugs or alcohol. And those were such simple times. I look back on that. I mean, I'm so incredibly grateful for him. It's why I like call him and thank him every year on my sobriety birthday for my treatment, my education, but all of that. I mean, he was such a, like, he and my stepmom were such a huge, and that was also a period where my mom was in active addiction. So she was like, I wasn't leaning on her or whatever. I was very alone at that point. Like, even like my aunt and uncle and Caroline and stuff, like I wasn't really talking to them a whole lot at that point. It was really my dad and my stepmom that I leaned on a lot, and they were 100% there for me and very, very supportive. I mean, I didn't see them every day, but like, very supportive. And I think, you know, like, it must be, because I can remember talking to my dad when he read Beautiful Boy. Like, I read it, I listened to it on Audible. It was when I was vlogging, because I talked about this, so I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, I listened to it on Audible. It had come out years ago. It's about a father and his son's descent into methamphetamine addiction. So the drugs were completely different than mine. But I remember calling my dad and saying, have you read this book? And he's like, yeah, I read it when it first came out. I heard about it like in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times or something like that. And I was like, was that what it was like for you? And he goes, that was exactly what it was like for me. Like, I lived in fear every day. And, you know, if I got arrested, my dad was like, no, you're somewhere safe. Like, I don't have to worry about you for the night. Because he was so worried that he was going to get a call that I was dead, you know? And then to be limited to the idea that the only way that you can help somebody is by buying them a new coffee machine or taking them to the grocery store, which that's super powerful. I mean, I talk about the power of a cup of coffee to this day. When I would go into meetings early in sobriety, and I had literally no money on me. None. Like, not even $1 to my name for the donation. I think my dad would give me like $7 a week, and it was like $1 a day to put into the donation basket, or $5 a week or something like that. But I hardly had any money. People would take me out to meetings afterwards and buy me cheeseburgers. It's why today I like to take a newcomer out, and like all of us will take them out. Like, we'll like get, you know, newcomers dinner and stuff. It's like passing on what we were given so freely. And it means a lot, you know? Like, if you're in early recovery and somebody wants to buy you something, let them buy you. Or if not even recovery, whatever. Like, I'm not saying like, I'm saying if you're struggling and somebody is there to offer you a meal, take it. You may be helping them more than you know by accepting their kind gift. Like, I don't know. Like, I had so many people that, like, we would go to Perkins and they'd be like, whatever you want. And I was like so hesitant. They're like, people did it for me. If you want an omelet, get an omelet. If you want a cheeseburger, get a cheeseburger. People fed me. People brought me in their homes. They were so nice, you know? And it was a lot of, like, the older women at that time. Not, like, 80-year-old women, but, like, my age today, women. There weren't a lot of young people that were my age, you know? And, I mean, I remember hanging out with some of the guys and stuff like that from meetings, but they were all, like, in their 40s, you know? My second sponsor, I don't know how old he would have been. If I was 22, 23. Well, he was my second sponsor, so I would have worked with him mostly when I was like 23 on. And he at the time was probably 40. Yeah. Yeah, because his wife is younger than he was, and she's like 10 years older than me. So he would have been about 20 years older than me. God, it's so weird to think about him at 70. He passed away about my age from a heroin overdose, which makes me so sad. He taught me so much. One of the wisest people I've ever known in my entire life, and he just couldn't get it for himself. It breaks my heart. And you hear that a lot, you know, in recovery. But I can remember going into meetings, and I've shared this a lot, but this is really, really important to me. It's one of the reasons why I still love to drink coffee. It's one of the reasons why I go to a meeting. That even if Tanya and I get a coffee before we go to a meeting, or I get a coffee before I go to a meeting, I always get a styrofoam cup of coffee, because early in meetings, I would go to a meeting and somebody would say, come here, we'll get a cup of coffee. And I didn't know if it cost anything. I didn't know if it was free. I didn't understand it, right? And then they'd say, how do you take your coffee? You know, whatever. And I'd get a cup of coffee. And then those same people would remember me. Or when I'd leave, they'd say, well, hope we see you next time, Peter. And then I'd come back and they'd be like, Peter! And they would remember my name. For something good. Not because I owed them something. And that cup of coffee, I can remember sitting there and it being so cold. You know, I got sober in December, and so January, February, March, I mean, it was cold. And I can remember sitting there in meetings in basements of churches that were so smoky, and like smoking a cigarette with one hand and holding this cup of coffee, and it just, for that, felt, I know it sounds so gross, but it felt comforting to me, you know? And I still think about that today. Just the generosity of just total strangers, you know, and people remembering me. And I'm shy. Like, I think that's one thing that people, like, I say it a lot, but, like, you know, I'm different in my videos. Like, I'm a very shy person. Like, with my neighbors that I know and stuff like that. With people I know, I'm not. It's like, what is it, the extroverted introvert? Like, with people that I know, I'm not shy. But, like, if I go to a meeting and I don't know very many, I'm just kind of, like, you know, sit there with a cup of coffee. But my third step, that's what I was talking about with all this. My toes are getting cold. I didn't put any socks on, so I've got these Ugg boots. People are like, you're sitting out there with the Ugg boots, but I don't have any socks on. My third step, I think, was that night when I got home from treatment, and I was sitting there on the bed, and I thought, you can run, which is what you've always done all your life, run from everything, every problem, every person, or you can stay and fight this. Like my counselor said, this will be the hardest thing you ever do, but if you do it, it'll be the most valuable. And I can see myself just kind of slowly walking into the bathroom and taking a shower. It was like spotless. Like I think my dad had gotten like a new shower curtain. I think the shower curtain was like half ripped before. It was like one of those clear see-through shower curtains. I think I like pulled on it and I just left it like that for like months. Like it was, and so my dad had got me like a new shower curtain. The bathroom was spotless. It was like really nice. And I remember taking a shower and I was underneath the shower. And honestly, it was one of the first times that I had taken a shower in that shower and I wasn't like screwed up, like on drugs or alcohol in a very, very long time. And I can remember just being like, if there is a God and you are out there, and I can remember just bawling underneath the shower and being like, if there is a God or there is something out there and you are out there, I need your help. I cannot do this on my own. I cannot do this on my own. And I consider that my third step. It's not the words of a third step. Yes, I did do the official words of a third step and got on my knees and stuff like that where you surrender. But to me, it was asking for help in a way that I had never asked for help before, you know? And I needed to do that. And it was hard. I think I was so scared. Like, this is one, I think, you know, I've learned so much about life just by being sober. The process of it. Like, and this is where we talk about, like, I think the biggest misconception about 12-step programs is that it's all about drugs and alcohol, which it really isn't. Like, the first step is the only one that mentions it about it. It's really about living life on life's terms, you know, and it's a design for living. That's really what it is. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my footsteps that are now filling up with stone. I'm looking at, like, one step after another. Like, recovery really taught me that. Putting one foot in front of the other. You know, it's like, I just did the next thing, you know, like, that I was told to do. And yeah, sometimes I fought it and asked a lot of questions, but I don't know, like I didn't know what to do. So somebody said, come here and drink a cup of coffee and sit down in this chair next to me. I took a cup of coffee and sat down in that chair next to them. I didn't know what to do. And I think that fear kept me grounded in just the next little step that I was going to make. You know what I mean? And so then when my life became about going to a meeting, going to eat with somebody, going back to another meeting, coming home, making a pot of coffee, watching a addiction sobriety movie, you know, reading the text, calling my sponsor to say goodnight, you know, like getting up, making my bed, making a pot of coffee. Like, my life looked like that early on. It was very simple. And I really couldn't deal with a lot more, you know. I think it's interesting today, like I meet a lot of newcomers and like they're like sober a month and they're like, you know, oh, I'm like working out at the gym every day and I'm like applying for school. Like, that was too much for me. Like, it was just enough for me not to drink and not to pick up drugs. Like, that was just enough. Like, and make a pot of coffee. You know, one of the reasons why we had jobs, well, we still do in meetings, but like years ago, like clean the coffee cups. You know, like when we had like real coffee cups in meetings and stuff like that. Some meetings still do. But anyway, clean out the ashtrays. We don't have smoking meetings anymore, but clean out the ashtrays, hosts, you know, shake everybody's hand when they come in. We still have that, some of those jobs. But anyway, was to just give somebody purpose. Like, I didn't feel like I had a lot of purpose. So, like, getting up, and, like, my sponsor would say, did you make your bed today? Yeah. Did you call 3 people and just check in? Yeah. Did you make a pot of coffee? Yeah. Did you read today's reading in the meditation book? Yeah. Like, that gave me purpose. But that was really all I could do. That's why I say, like, I don't know how people were, like, sharing stuff on, like, they share stuff online about early recovery. Like, I couldn't have. Well, first of all, I would have been too scared and too shy and too afraid, but I couldn't have. Number one. Number two, I didn't know my ass from a hole in the wall. I really didn't. I think I thought I did sometimes, you know, like when I'd say something real good in a meeting, and I'd be real proud of myself, too. I'd be like, oh, that sounded pretty good. And then I'd look over at my sponsor. He was so funny. I'd look over at my sponsor, and he'd be like, no, you shut your mouth and open your ears. You got nothing to say. You just need to listen and take it in. That's what he would say to me afterwards. Because I would ask him, I'd be like, did you like my share? Like, he'd be like, it was, what do you want? Like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, well, Did you think it sounded bad? He goes, why do you care what anybody thinks your share sounds like? He's like, you have nothing to share with anybody. You've been sober a month. Which I love when newcomers share now. I learn so much from newcomers, but I think my sponsor is so clued in that I was like an addict. It is really coming down now and blowing. I mean, it's like blowing. You guys want to see? Now watch, it's going to stop. See, I knew it was going to stop. It's over there at Pool Crew Lady number 1 and number 2's house. Can you see the... Look at that. Oh, no, it stopped. But anyway, you know, there's people that come into recovery and they're like real honest from the get-go, and then there's bullshit artists. And I was just kind of like, I just wanted to say things that people would think like, that sounded smart. Like, I didn't want to sound stupid, you know? And that's why my sponsor told me, shut your mouth and open your ears. But my third step was in the shower that night, saying, if there's a God, please help me, because I can't do it on my own. Anyway, y'all like these kind of conversations? This went on forever. Okay, let me tell you what I did last night, and I'm going to get off here and get this vlog uploaded, because I want to just relax and watch movies today, and then my husband comes home tomorrow. I'll be filming videos all day tomorrow. I was going to film a bunch of videos today, but I'm not. I'm just going to, like, enjoy the blizzard and hang out with the dogs and watch movies and stuff like that. So, last night, what did I watch before I lay down and took a nap? Why can't I remember? Oh, I finished The Last Frontier last night before I laid down and took my nap with the dogs. I liked it. I really liked it. People were telling me that it ended conclusively or concisely or whatever. Kind of. It ended for like there to definitely be a season 2, and the show got canceled. I never would have watched it had I known that. If anybody, like, I said to Tanya, I said, is it inconclusively, or is it like, she's like, oh yeah, 100%. I got like no chance for a season 2. She goes, well, it got canceled, but like it left it open. No, it leaves it like on, when I talk to her today, I'm going to be like, ma'am, seriously? It left like a wide gap for a season. I wouldn't tell you not to watch it. I liked it. I thought the show was good, but does it leave it like, yeah, you don't know what happens at the end. That is not a conclusive ending for me. So I watched that before I laid down. Then I got up, read for a little bit. Then Nikki and I watched Love After Lockup. We texted each other the whole time. Then I called her afterwards, and we were talking about Love After Lockup. And then the snow had not started there yet. So I was sending her all these pictures. I took a picture of me like with the snow in the background. I was like, don't be jealous. But anyway, oh no, I did talk to Tanya last night, but I talked to her before I finished The Last Frontier, because she was like, have you finished it yet? And I said no. She was watching something. It starts with an M, and it's one word. It's like a woman's name. Marcella or something like that on Netflix. She said it's really good. But anyway, I don't think that's it. It's something like that. But anyway, she's checking in. She's like, are you doing okay? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you know, we got our plan. Did I already talk about this yesterday? Because she was like, if it gets really bad and the electricity goes out, we'll come and pick you up and whatever. I was like, okay. So anyway, and then took my nap. Okay, then we watched Love After Lockup. And then after that, what did I do? What did I watch? Oh, okay. I watched the episode of the show Passenger on BritBox. I think it's on BritBox. It might just be on Amazon Prime. It's 6 episodes. It's like a BritBox show. So it's about this detective in this small town. I can't remember what it's called, but something Vale. Anyway, and it's like supernatural, but like they're trying to find missing people at the same time. The woman that plays the detective is the woman that just got nominated for Best Supporting Actress from Sinners. And she was also in Vera, and she was also in something else that I watched. Shetland, maybe? I love her. So she's like the main detective in this one. She was in something else that I watched. Happy Valley? I don't remember, but I like looked at her up because I was like, oh, people are talking about her because she was in Sinners. So I watched one episode of that last night. It's 6 episodes. It's slow. I don't know that I love it. And it's a little paranormal too. It's okay. I don't know that I would. I don't know. I'm going to watch another episode of it today, and then I'll let you guys know. I think I might watch Sinners today. And then after that, I watched. Oh, I had half an episode. So I was on season 4, episode 1 of Vera. So I finished episode 1, and I started episode 2, and then I went to bed. I actually didn't stay up super, super late last night. I was getting real tired. The dogs were real tired. I went to bed, and then, I thought the snow had stopped, but I guess it hadn't. It was like, now it's coming down in big chunks. But I got in bed and I read last night, which was real nice. So today, my plan is, what time is it right now? Let's see. It's only 3:30 right now. Oh, Alex just texted me. What he said happening here. What is it? What's happening here? It looks like the back of the Big Brother house. He's like texting me them all like laying out in the backyard. Here, I'll text him this back. Hold on a second. I've already sent him a bunch of pictures of the snow. Oh, he said happening live. So I texted him back, happening live. Okay. So anyway, yeah, and then I'm gonna watch movies and TV shows, take a nap. I'll probably walk in this tonight for a little bit. I thought they cleared the streets. I guess they haven't. Anyway, let's go out there and look, shall we? Well, actually, no, I'm not gonna walk all the way out there because no, they haven't cleared the streets yet. But I do want to get a thumbnail with the blizzard in the background. I don't really like having the electrical things. Okay. Oh, it's so coming down. It's so pretty on me now. It's so pretty on me. But do you see all the snow's coming down? See, sitting underneath there, I can't really tell. But now I can really tell that it's coming down. All right. Well, I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday. Staying safe, staying warm. I'm going to take this off. Hold on. Because I have to turn off the camera. If nobody else has told you today, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!